built on relationships, focused on people, and rooted in the community. Welcome to the Build Blue podcast. Tune in for weekly episodes featuring guests who are building a better tomorrow. You'll hear inspiring stories from industry leaders, business owners, community partners, and our team members. The Build Blue podcast, where construction comes to life. An APX Construction Group production.
Welcome to the Build Blue podcast. My name is Jess Blaze with APX Construction Group, and we are joined today by Kurt Pesch, the District Manager for Metallic Building Systems. Welcome to the podcast, Kurt.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming on. I'm just going to move this a little closer for you so we can hear you. We start all of our APEX podcasts with the same question we ask everybody, and it's always so interesting to hear where people had their first experience in the workforce. So what was your very first job?
Well, out of college, I went to school to be an architect, and then I started with a general contractor doing their design work and estimating, and did that for 17 years, and went on to be a district manager for a brand X metal building manufacturer, and the last 20 years has been with Metallic Building Company.
Very cool. So APEX, we do all types of construction, but today we're talking about a pretty specific niche in our business. We are a proud authorized dealer for metallic building systems, and over the years, we've kind of become an industry expert in that realm, I would say. We're able to self-perform steel erection and concrete work, and we put up a lot of metal buildings. So Kurt, you've played a strong part in our journey and the success of that. So let's hear a little bit about you and about your background, and maybe dive in a little bit more on how you arrived at Metallic.
Well, with an architectural background, I really like the design build type aspect of the building. And when I became a district manager and I would sign builders, I like guys that were design build, something that you could, and I really like metal buildings. It's our pre-engineered metal buildings is we can do so much more. I've been in the business for over 40 years, so long time, but it used to be boxes, and now the stuff that you can do is just incredible. Well, especially like some of the stuff that you guys have done. But when I first met Mitch and Ryan, I was just excited. You know, they're exactly what I looked for, you know, is somebody that wanted to think out of the box, take a building, and that's, I guess my expertise is that to help guys take a conventional type or any type of construction, make it into pre-engineer where you're going to go faster, the building's going to go up fast, you're going to, it's going to be less money, and you're going to get a really nice product. And then it's really nice with Metallic and the Cornerstone building brands. We have a lot of products that other companies don't have, so which fits right into the niche that you guys are doing is with insulated panels that are insulated panels, designer panels that are horizontal, and you can really make a cool looking project. If you can, I'm sure you've got a portfolio on your website that shows all the cool buildings you've been doing with Metallic. So
we have done some incredible buildings with Metallic, and I love the design aspect as well. So let's talk a little bit more about kind of how you've seen that change. We often hear from customers, we'll take them around, give them a tour of a lot of our projects, and the number one thing we hear is, that doesn't look like a metal building,
exactly.
Or I would have never guessed that was a metal building. And so I would love to talk a little bit more about these innovations when it comes to design, the architectural panels, and then maybe kind of what you're seeing looking forward.
Yeah, we're seeing a little bit more of a trend towards the insulated metal panels, and then because we can put so many faces on them. And then I think we're going to see more and more of that. But, the biggest thing is we're not a box anymore. We can just do, all kinds of different, textures and design on a building. And again, like you said, you'd never know that it was a pre-engineered metal building. And, I talked to a guy one time, and I was telling him about the panels that we had, and he said he wanted to look at a job, and I told him, well, go look at this job. And he was sitting in the guy's parking lot and said, I cannot find it. And I said, well, where are you? And he's sitting right in front of me. He goes, I'm sitting next to this. And I said, no, that's it. That's you. He had no idea that it was a pre-engineered metal building. And again, it's so cost effective. And then we can insulate it so well that it's just a perfect fit. I'm pretty high on pre-engineered metal building.
And we are too. And we have a lot of phone calls with customers, or, discovery calls with customers, and they maybe are looking at doing something else for their construction, and will, if it makes sense, almost always steer them to a pre-engineered metal building. And it's because of those things, because they go up faster, because of the insulated metal panels.
Exactly.
And then they're always surprised when they see our portfolio. They see what we've done with the architectural panels, with the color panels, and like the stone facade. And there's so much you can do, and people are always surprised.
Yeah, and then what you look at it too is then you say when you're going to be done,
Yeah.
compared to what another project
Yes.
is going to be done, or how fast we're going to be into the ground, and it blows people away. It's really a fun time to be in the pre-engineered metal building.
Absolutely.
business.
Do you remember the first project that you worked with Ryan and Mitch on?
Yeah, it was kind of fun. It was like when I first talked to them and I met them, and they hadn't selected metallic yet, and then after meeting them, I left their office and I was thinking, I hope these guys want to do, with it, because they're exactly what I want to, talk to it. When I first talked to him, it was back when we were kind of going through a recession, and I remember talking to Ryan, and he was saying about he was building businesses when other people were going out of business. And then what his focus and his vision was, it was like, I was so excited. And then we started pricing him some building, and the very first building they did was, 100,000 square feet, warehouse building. And it's like, usually when somebody steps into the metal building business, it's like, it might be a 50 by 100 or something, not 100,000 square feet. And then all insulated wall panels, and got it passed by the city. And then from then on, I think it was Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah.
And then from there, just fun projects like Medieval Metalworks and your guys' old office that you sold. That was a
beautiful building.
Yes, national award winner for us. And
Yeah.
I don't know how many national awards you guys have won already. And I know that you've got 3 of them that you built now that are definitely going to be a national award. I think that the one, TCC is just awesome.
Isn't it something?
Yeah. And that one was really fun because we got to sit with an architect, and he had the basic design, and then we figured out how to make that into a pre-engineered metal building. First time I got to do a final tour on it, or after it was completed, and it is really cool. And then your new office shop building is. If that doesn't win a top award for us, I'm going to be really surprised. And the color combinations are just beautiful on that. So
the new office, Elevate 22, is so unique. It really stands out. It's in that industrial area, but that's another one that doesn't look like a metal building, but yet it's warehouses. So it's got that cool kind of juxtaposition going on. And then the horizontal panels and the roof line are just
and then the
incredible.
color combinations they picked are excellent. So
our design team is very good.
They did a really nice job. So.
I read an article that said that steel structures account for about 75 to 80% of new commercial and corporate construction. So kind of just talking about the adoption of pre-engineered metal buildings and how that's expounding the growth of commercial construction.
Yeah, exactly. It is. When I first started, I was doing a lot of conventional buildings in my career, and then it was just I started getting into pre-engineered and starting the things that you could do. And again, 40 years. It's been a long time, but it is so cool what we've gone to, and the technology. And Metallic Building Company is, I think they are spending more money this year in new technology and upgrading systems and stuff that they have ever in their company's history. So, the next 2-3 years are really going to be exciting. We have some new cold form building packages that are smaller and less, they're more economical. But there's a lot of things that it's pretty exciting. It's good business to be in. So
those cold form buildings are exciting.
Yeah.
There is definitely a time and place when the full insulated metal panels just aren't the right fit. So it's going to be great to have that option.
And it's one of the things, we're just in the beginning stages of it, but I think it's from the time you order the building, you can have a building on site in like 15 days. Wow. amazing.
It's unheard of.
That's exactly what we're looking at, to be in that niche. And in a normal metal building, we're 7 to 8 weeks on a delivery now, and high complexity is getting into that 12 to 16 weeks, depending on how fancy you want to make it. But anytime that you tell somebody we can have something on site in 15 days, that's pretty amazing.
Your ears perk up a little bit. Absolutely. Not that any of us want to recall the pandemic, but let's talk a little bit about pre-engineered metal building, the industry during that time, and just kind of how now has moved forward from that.
Actually, it works out pretty good with a bunch of the, so many people can work from our home now. And now it's kind of changed the way I do business, where I used to be on the road more. Now I'm more in my office because people send you full sets of blueprints. Mm-hmm. But, it's the people that I work with at Metallic, they could be in the office next to me, is the way technology is. So you've got big screen TV or big screen computer screens that you can look at full sets of blueprints and go over things and instantaneously talk to engineers and detailers and designers to get stuff going. So and what we're going to see in the future is it's just going to be nuts, I think. So
it definitely forced our hand to progress, whether we liked it or not, across all industries. But I think we'll see those changes forever going forward. What is the most complex project you've ever been a part of at Metallic?
Oh gosh, there's a lot of them, but I know that your TCC that's the largest single building that I've ever ordered or worked with anybody on. And then what's so fun about that one is again, we take a look at a footprint of a building and then say, we look at this building, how are we going to make it into pre-engineered buildings? And actually it's basically 8 different parts put together into one building. So, and when you look at it, we start out with the warehousing, and then you're going to the office area, and then we have the receiving, and it's everything. When you're putting them together, it just fits so well when it came together, and that's why it was so much fun for me today to go through that, is to see, I remember talking to an engineer about that, and she didn't understand what I was telling her. It's like, no, do this and it'll work, and then it's, it works, and then when you actually look at that and say, that's what we did, and look how nice it turned out. So and the front on that, and the color combinations, the black panels on the front with the red look really nice. And I know that the insulated metal building company, or the insulated panel company that did that with us, they weren't real thrilled about doing a black panel because it was a special color for them, and black is kind of a heat absorbing panel, but it turned out awesome.
It's beautiful. Nice. And the project that Kurt is referring to is Truck Center Companies here in Mankato, Minnesota, and brand new location, 100,000 square foot pre-engineered metal building. And just watching it come to life has been so awesome for all of our team. So we're really glad that you're here to celebrate their grand opening and be in the building that everyone I know puts so much time and effort and passion into. Yeah,
it is cool. I'm traveling with Shelly Perez, is a project manager that I work with, and she's out of Houston. And it was really fun for her because it was one of the first jobs that she really got involved doing, and then to actually be in Houston working on something, seeing drawings, and then coming out to the site and actually see it all put together. She was taking lots of pictures. It looked cool. So
that's very exciting. You mentioned the Metallic Awards, and I have a pretty big part of my job is putting those award packages together. So we're pretty proud of the awards that we've won so far, and we're very enthusiastic about submitting awards for this year with Truck Center Companies and Elevate 22. And we also won down at the Metal Building and Steel Erectors Contractors Association spring conference. We won for the Pickle Barn.
Yeah.
And we haven't talked about the Pickle Barn yet, but that's another one of those kind of outside the box, a little bit different. It's one of the few dedicated pickleball facilities in the country, and it's been getting a lot of attention for not only the fact that it's a dedicated pickleball facility, but that just the design of it.
Yeah, it won a national award for us also, and it's just a cool building. And that's what I remember when they first started talking about, was a pickle barn, and then I think Jamie did the design
Yep.
on it, and it was like, oh, this is really nice. And then we made it fit into the pre-engineered, and it's a fun facility, and it's pickleball is really growing.
It's crazy. I mean, it's even over the last 6 months, it's blowing up. It's everywhere, and we get calls, I mean, weekly for sure, of people across the country that have heard about the pickle barn or seen photos or, stumbled on it online through a Google search, and people want to build pickleball facilities.
I'm a tennis player, and I thought pickleball was mainly the older people out there that we used to went through tennis, and they can't do that anymore. And now it's like there's kids and professional circuits, professional tennis players that are switching to pickleball. And it is. I hope we do a whole bunch more of those. That'd be fun.
Have you played?
No. Well, we played tennis, and then I played pickleball afterwards, and I was terrible. But I could probably work it in later. But right now, I'm still going to play tennis. So.
I'm lacking in the hand-eye coordination department, so
it's really fun. I mean, we were laughing and looking stupid. You think you're going to swing like a tennis racket, and it's like no, but it's. I can really see why it's popular, and it's a cool sport. So.
That was a really fun project for us as well. If you had a type of building you would love to do but have not been a part of, what would it be? Maybe like a certain type of facility or a certain company you'd like to work with?
Yeah, I don't know. I not that it's the marijuana growing thing. It's going to be a big thing.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not so much into like the marijuana side
Sure.
of it, but I really want to see how they do it, how they build a climate environment and then make it grow. And we've done a bunch of them, mainly in Colorado.
Sure.
And an old company I used to work with, they've got a branch office out there that has done it. And it's coming to Minnesota, and it'll be interesting to see. So haven't done it. I'd like to see them, and hopefully you guys are going to do some. So.
Yeah, that's an interesting industry. We're fielding a lot of requests for information for not only cannabis but just vertical farming.
Exactly. It's just not marijuana. It's tomatoes, and I've done some fish facilities in the past, and that's a little bit interesting because there's so much humidity in that. But that's going to be the same thing that we're going to do with tomatoes or other crops. So we're going to see more and more people want to do organic. So we're going to see that going into buildings. So.
Very interesting. I'm excited to see what the future holds with those partnerships and then the technology that's coming too. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
No, real excited and hope to continue working with you guys because it's been fun. It has really been fun. What you guys have done is just incredible. Ryan's on our presidential advisory council. He was on the metallics, and now he's on all Cornerstone, and that's pretty impressive to show what he's done in a short time. And just drive around Mankato, you'll see.
Well, thank you for saying that. It's an exciting company to be a part of, and we value our relationship with Metallic very much. So thank you for being here, and thanks for agreeing. We kind of voluntold you to be on the podcast today, I think, with your visit. So we appreciate you taking the time, and enjoy your time here in Mankato, Kurt.
Okay, thank you.
You can listen to the Build Blue podcast anywhere you get your podcasts. We're on YouTube as well. We'll see you next week for another episode.